Right, hi everybody. This is Chris 2E0 UKH, and I've got a very special guest on today. I've got John Burns. Hiya, John.
Hello, Chris. How are you doing? Good to see you.
Yeah, doing all right. Thanks for coming on today. We've got
How's the shoulder? How's the shoulder doing?
Shoulder. Oh, I'm back to work in about a week, so
Awesome.
it's it's healing up nicely. So, would you just like to introduce yourself and your background and what this video is about?
Yeah, sure. Thanks for inviting me on. Well, I'm John. Golf Whiskey 3, Juliet Victor Bravo is the call sign, and for my sins, I'm the culprit who's released to the amateur radio community the iOS app called Hambands in the past couple of weeks. It's not what I do for a living. I do other things for a living, but it's a big hobby of mine is software development. I also do a lot of photography, and I'm also involved in music making as well. I've got loads of different hobbies, and writing applications, writing software is something I've been involved with for a little while. And I came up with an idea for something for amateur radio, and Hambands is the result.
Yeah, well, we're lucky to have people making applications because I know it takes a long time. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I know what the app does. It shows you all the details of the frequency band plans for different countries. So, at the moment, what countries have you got on board?
So we've got 6 at the moment. Let me think off the top of my head. We've got Canada, Italy, Spain, the UK, the USA, and oh my goodness, who's the 6th one? I've forgotten. We've got the USA, UK, Spain, Italy, Ireland era as well. We've got in there as well. So those are the 6 currently.
And if anyone wants anything else adding, they can message you and get it added.
Yeah, they can. Well, Spain would possibly cover much of Europe because of the region. But I don't have anything in region 3, I think it isn't it, with Australia and over in the Far East. So more or less the HF frequencies will be fairly similar, but there would be specific differences between each of the bands. But they're the 6 I've got at the moment. So the majority of users would be covered. I mean, but if you do want your band added, if you would like to see your country, not your band, sorry, if you want to see your country added, give us a shout. Always happy to try and get anything else.
Good. Yeah, that's excellent. Now, can you bring the app up on the screen so people can see what it is? And then I'm going to ask you a question about it, and then you can do a demo of the app. So
here we are.
I didn't like to say, but I was just wondering. You've got access to all the Hambands, and I was thinking, why would I want to buy that? I didn't want to say, but why would I want to buy that when I can just see the results for my country online?
Sure. Yeah, no, it's a good question, and it's a question I've been asked by a couple of people as well. What is the benefit? What is the value add with the app? It's not a massively sophisticated app. I didn't really want to come up with anything that was going to be confusing to use or unwieldy, or it didn't look good. It wasn't the most appealing looking application. So I spent a lot of time making it look good, and ultimately, Chris, I've managed to come up with something that's I think it's a very quick access, fast access, at a glance info that you can get to for all of the HF bands 160 to 10 through many countries around the world at a glance. So I would say yes, of course that information is available online. This is where I've collated the information to create the database from, but it would take you a lot longer if you wanted, for example, to see what the CW information, the CW data range was for the 40-meter band in the USA, because you wanted to operate with somebody in the USA. It might take you a little while to get that. And then you say, well, I want to look what it is in Italy as well, and I want to look what it is in Ireland as well. It would take you X times longer to do that. And it gives you very quick information. It's useful information rather than going all the way through the web, launching your browser, going to a web page, finding out what the local association or the regional office or the regional controlling office and authority is for any band within that country. You've got all the information at a glance offline.
And you don't need any internet. You don't need any internet. So that's a very good point. I never thought, when I was facing this question, I never thought of that. I know the bands I can use, but 40 meters, for example, in the UK, it's 7.0 to 7.2. In America, it goes up to 7.3. I was wondering why I never hear any Americans on there, and it's because they're all in the higher portion. And
so if we go to
so
the USA,
could you bring up the 40-meter USA portion, for example, and show us the.
There we are. It's already there.
Show us the frequency range. So if I wanted to do an SSB voice contact, I can see LSB. I can't quite read the screen because I've made you small, so I'm trying to look in the right direction.
Shall I see if I can magnify it, Chris? Shall I see if I can make it a bit bigger? Let's have a look.
I'm sure other people can see it, but I've made the picture small, so I'm looking into the camera.
So you've got, so this is the, let me go back a page. This is the home page that you see. And of course we've got
yes.
The light or the dark mode. It adapts to whatever your settings are. So let's pick something like you mentioned the USA 40-meter band. So
yes.
Scroll down to the USA. So literally vertically scrolling here goes through the countries that are available. And then with each of the countries that you've got, you can horizontally scroll through each of the bands from 10 to 160. So if I click on the 40-meter band, this gives you the information now for that particular band. So I've got the USA 40-meter band available. It tells me what the general mode is, LSB, what the CW data and SSB ranges are for that particular band.
Brilliant.
Whether contests are permitted or not, there's a link. If I click on that link, it should now take me to the regulator. Even though this is a simulator, it should load up. There you go. It's loading up the ARRL band plan.
Brilliant. And that's taking you direct to the site. And I noticed a map on there. I noticed a map on. So does it, I mean, I know where USA is, but does it show the areas that band plan covers in the map?
It does, yeah. So for each if I clicked on Italy, I'm clicking on a random 80 meters, then you can see Italy is turned up in the map. If I click on Ireland, if I click on Canada 80 meters, you can see Canada is turned up in the map. This part of the page here is a fully functional, fully moving map part.
Yeah, we can't see the map. Can you bring it down a fraction?
Oh, I'm sorry. Right. Okay. Yes.
That's okay.
Made that.
It's my fault for telling you to zoom in.
There we are. So let me go back up a little bit. There we are. How's that? If I zoom, there you
go.
No,
not yet.
Coming in. No.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Right. Let me go back a little bit. So if I clicked on, say, Canada 80 meters, you can see the map opens up in Canada. If I click on Ireland 60 meters, the map opens up with Ireland in view. If I click on Italy or Spain 17 meters, there's Spain that comes up. And this map, Chris, it's a fully featured map in the app itself. You can zoom in and you can zoom out of certain areas wherever you want to.
You could double check that your town you're looking for or the areas there. Now, what are the tabs at the bottom?
So the tabs at the bottom, they're just the overall navigation of the app. If I go back to the home page, I'll run through them quickly.
Yeah, that's where you find the bands.
You've got your little welcome note at the top. Well, in the profile page, it allows you to type your name and your call sign if you wanted to. So if I typed my name there and I typed in my call sign, GW3JVB, if I go back to the main page, you can see now my details are shown at the top of the page, just as a nice little extra. So in case you forget what your name is, or in case you forget what your call sign is. So little gimmicky, but at least it personalizes the app. You can scroll across the top to have any featured band always on display if you wanted to, for your particular favorite band. And then, so that's in the profile tab, gives you a link, the ability to put your name and your call sign in. The About tab is simply a link to, if I click on that, it takes you to the Hambands app website where we've got a privacy statement. One of the conditions, incidentally, Chris, is that when you release an app on the Apple Store, you must have two things. They stipulate that apart from the app being compliant to their standards, you have to have a privacy statement and you have to have a means for anybody who purchases your app to be able to get in touch with you.
Your focus has gone on the camera. Carry on.
Right. Okay. Let me.
But carry on explaining it. I didn't want to interrupt.
There we are. Is that better?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So if I go back to the support page, so the Apple mandate that you must have a privacy statement and a means for anybody who's bought the app to be able to contact you and get in touch with any queries or whatever. So that link takes me to the support page, to the privacy statement, and there's also a link there that should take you directly to a page where you can scroll down, and there's the support if you needed to send us a bit of an email. So those links on this page are really to make sure that we comply with Apple's policies of safeguarding customers' privacy and providing a means for them to contact us.
Yeah, well, so it's all compliant. What's that one? What's that 1 second on the left at the bottom?
Okay, that's an interesting one. So let me go to this one first. So here you've got the page where you can scroll up and down any of the countries that are currently included, and horizontally for any of the bands. But if you go to your list here, this now gives you access to all of the bands in all of the countries that are currently included in the app. So if I wanted to say, look at all the bands in Italy only, I shall click on the top bar, and now it's filtered, so it's only showing me bands from Italy. If I wanted to see only the USA, then I select USA from the drop down, and it's done as you'd expect. It's showing me the bands from the USA. But you'll notice this yellow star here. If I go to this particular band, it's marked as a star, as a favorite. So I can get quick access to this and any other band that I mark as a favorite instantly. So let's just say I wanted to put the USA 60-meter band as a favorite. Well, I'll go to the USA 60-meter band, click the favorite, and when I go back to the list, I can see now that the USA has got a star. It's USA 60 meters has got a star against it. And if I filter by favorites, I now only see the bands that I've marked as a favorite. And I can anticipate your next question. What you might ask me, well, what if I wanted the UK 60-meter band to show in the list of favorites there? At the moment, I'm filtering by country and favorite. If I filter by all and favorite, this shows me all of the favorites across all of the bands. So any band I've marked as a favorite will appear in this list. So if I take off the UK 160-meter band, for example, I no longer want that in my favorites. You'll notice it's no longer listed as part of my favorite. It's still there, but I'm filtering now all of my countries for all of the favorites. If I just want to look at which bands I've marked as favorites in the USA, then I would make sure favorites is selected and look at the USA, and there's my favorite band in the USA. And it takes you to exactly the same page, really, Chris. So if I went to the USA 60-meter band from this page, for example, and it takes me to there, if I go to the USA band from the Your List page, it takes you to exactly the same place.
Brilliant. Okay. And what was I going to say? Yeah, so it's called Hambands, all one word, Hambands for anyone that's blind. And it's in, at the moment, it's on Apple. It's on the
App Store at the moment. So that's a good point. Yeah, it's a good point you raised there. At the moment, it's only available for iOS devices, for Apple devices in the App Store. Now, I've been really, really surprised, if I'm honest, launched about 3 weeks ago, and I've had dozens and dozens, well over 100 requests from people all around the world asking for an Android version. Now, the process of building an app for Android is radically different to that of building an app for Apple. It's a completely different, the software is more or less the same, but the way that you go about doing it, the way that the application is structured is different. So it's taken me a little while, but I have started development of the Android version, and I've actually got myself, I don't know whether I can show it on camera, I've got myself an Android phone that I've now got a version 1 of the app that seems to be working and is fairly stable on that platform as well. So it will take another couple of weeks for me to finish the development of that, but Hambands for Android is in development. I've got a working prototype model on my Samsung. I've got an A12
Brilliant.
Development. So
and did it just compile it from a lot of the code from the original one?
No.
Because you've got it up. You seem to have got it up and running very quickly. That's what I was thinking.
So, well, no, I've had to start all over again because there's no, with the, there are software applications that are cross-platform compatible.
That's right, that's what I was thinking, yeah.
Yeah, there's several out there, but I didn't really plan on doing it for Android at all. I was only going to do it originally for iOS. So I didn't choose one of the platforms that is cross-compatible. I wrote it specifically for Apple devices. So as a consequence, because I didn't anticipate the amount of interest and the number of requests I'd get to do it for Android, I didn't do it in this cross-compatible platform. So I've had to start from scratch. Literally, there's no similarity in the code There's an exact match of the data, of course. So the data that goes into the database is an exact match. So managing, how can I put it? The best way to explain this is, once the app is up and running, yes, it's not going to be the most effective from my perspective to manage 2 separate code bases, but that's fine, because the majority of the improvements and changes will come from adding additional information on this, such as additional countries, maybe VHF, UHF. So it's adding data to the database rather than amending the code. So it wouldn't be so much of a big issue for me to
but that's all the things you'd add. Yeah, it makes total sense.
So the source of the data is the same, so I use the same file in effect to source the database, the data that goes into the database, but I've had to start from the ground up on the Android. Chris,
anyway, on the app, is there anything else you wanted to show us? I noticed there was some, it looks like there's about 7 or 8 photos where it says John. Can you scroll that left and right? Is there different pictures from each country? I noticed that.
Yeah, that's scrollable left and right. Again, that was just there to actually allow someone to select a band that they wanted to include as a featured band. I'm going to be releasing it in version 1.3 or 1.4 whenever it comes next. I'll add the ability to select this and to probably pin it so that it's always there, rather than it can be pinned as well as made scrollable as well. But of course, all the images you see are from the country where the band is. So this is obviously an image in Ireland. This one is somewhere in Spain. Have I got any? There we are. That's one of my. That's up in Snowdonia. That's a photograph.
Yeah, it makes it look very polished. I mean,
it does. Yeah.
It's only basic information, the app, isn't it? Yeah. But it makes it very polished in this nice interface. Now, before we end, I just wanted to touch on how much it is and how much it will be on Android. So I bought it for £2. £2 in the UK.
£1.99 in the App Store. Yeah. And there's a reason why I've been charging it. When you can get the information free, of course, if somebody doesn't want to pay £1.99, entirely your call. Not a problem. You don't have to buy the app. I'd appreciate it if people did. That would be a great way of supporting. But of course, you don't have to. You can just carry on and do what you've always done. Use your bookmarks and retrieve the information from various websites around the internet.
How much is it on Android? Is it
so? Well, I haven't, because I haven't put it on the platform yet. I've got to assess how much effort it's going to take to actually get there. I would think around about the same price, I would think, although I'm not too sure. And again, it's entirely up to the individuals. Now, the reason why I don't want to put anything for free, or this app, and I've got another app in development as well, and the reason why is because it devalues the product. Now, people can like me or loathe me for making that statement, but this isn't something, regardless of the simplicity of the app, it's not something that's taken 5 minutes to simply knock up, put together and get launched. This takes hours and hours and hours of coding to get right, to make it look like a polished product, to provide the information readily available, readily accessible for everybody. It takes a lot of effort.
That's right.
As I'm not a professional software developer, I've no idea how long this might have taken a professional. Significantly less hours than it took me to do. That would be a fact, Chris. I can assure that there are professionals out there who could do this way quicker than I was able to do it. But it's my belief that to fund this, it's my money.
Yes, that's totally up to you. I would charge for it as well if it's taken thousands of lines of code. So sorry to interrupt. I don't want it to be.
No problem.
Yeah, so I didn't want the video to be too long.
Okay.
The price of it on Android, you're looking at the same sort of price?
I would think so, yeah.
And I must say, it's very nice to have someone making apps for, the radio hobby, and someone that we're in touch with. You're in all the Facebook groups, you're in my group, Digital Analog Ham. And I'm sure we'll come up. This is the best bit. I'm sure we'll come up with some more ideas. What else you can write for us that we need?
Well, I've got one in the offing. It should be on the shelves later this week, and I don't mind mentioning, because I'm not quite sure how long it's going to be before this video gets released. So it may even be out by the time you release this. But I've got an app almost ready for launch. I'm just finalizing some of the artwork, which is an on-the-go syllabus-accurate emulation of the UK amateur radio RSGB examinations for foundation, eventually for intermediate and full. So you can actually sit an exam and get it marked with each of the questions have been mapped to a syllabus item within the RSGB. So you'll know at the end, once you see the results, which areas you would be deficient in.
Brilliant, yeah.
Where you need to apply some learning and some more, revision. That should be with you, or that should be with the community within I would think by the end of this week.
Well, that's fantastic, and thank you for your work. I mean, we are very lucky that, if this was a mainstream subject, a game or something, you'd sell millions. You'd
well, that's it.
You'd have a bigger audience. So
I know you want to keep the video as short as possible, but the applications that are downloaded millions of times, they've got development houses, they've got teams of several hundred people doing the graphic user interface, the coding, the infrastructure.
Exactly.
They've got hundreds of people focusing on development. Me, I'm an amateur radio enthusiast doing things, as you know, Chris, for amateur radio enthusiasts. So like I said, everything is funded by me. I paid for it all myself. I paid for the kit. I paid for the hardware. I paid for the software, and I'm happy just to release things to the community as I come up with them. And it is still the same amount of effort that's needed. Obviously, with more complex games and more complex apps, it takes longer. Of course, it does. But nonetheless, it still does take a lot of time and a lot of effort to do this. And I'm happy to do it. I thoroughly enjoy it. But that's the reason why.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for doing it for the hobby. It's
no problems.
I'm sure we'll come up with lots of other ideas. Because
any reviewers got any ideas, chuck them at me by all means. I'm always happy to hear.
Okay, well, thanks, John. Thanks for joining us on Zoom, and
welcome, Chris.
I'll see you on my next stream. Cheers.
Yeah, all the best.
Okay, 7-3. Cheers.